Hey dude, look at my collection.
Holy Mary, Mother of God. This show is intended for mature audiences only. Viewer discretion is advised. Hello humans, and welcome to another episode of Gen X Gamer. Today, what is the collector's choice for the next generation? Well, there's only one way to go, guys. Now, I'm not saying this is the better console. I'm not saying it's going to be the most popular console. But looking at it through the eyes of a collector, it's going to be the Xbox Series X, hands down. And I'm not saying it's a better console. I'm not saying it's going to have the better games or anything like that. But strictly from a collector's point of view, this is going to be the more collectible console for a few reasons. This console is a different archetype. This console is actually an accessory to the platform. It's never happened before in console history, where the console itself is an accessory to the platform. It's always been, the platform has been the console, and that's just not the case here. The Game Pass is transforming. The cloud wars are here. And the major player is going to be Microsoft, hands down. Everybody else is going to have to catch up because they're delivering service at a pace and a rate that Google can't handle, PlayStation can't handle. PlayStation does have the better games now overall. You could just see it with the last generation on how they performed. But going forward, Microsoft has the advantage, and I think what makes this console collectible, and it's going to be highly collectible in the future, so I always tend to think 10 years down the line, what's going to happen. And the reason this console is going to be collectible is because it's a different archetype, right? Like I said, it's actually an accessory to the platform, number one. Number two, it's the first console that on launch day, you're going to have hundreds of games to play, right? I think their backwards compatibility list, is around the 500-600 mark. You guys can double check. For me personally, forget about what their list is. My games, right? Just my games. I can safely say, without skipping a beat, I have at least 300 games that I can play on the Xbox Series X on launch day that I own, that I can, just play around with and see what they're going to look like on this platform. So that's huge. It's never happened before. I mean, you go back into console history and you tell me when you can go back and say I can play X amount of games on day one on this console. It actually happens once before, not in this scale, but it's happened once before, and it was with the ColecoVision with the Atari adapter. There was a couple of them there too. I think Intellivision had one. But other than that, and that's way back in history. In the modern era, it hasn't happened, right? And I think that's what's going to make this item collectible. I don't know how many collectible machines are going to be released at launch. I mean, they're just going to go with the basics. And there's usually one or two that they throw in there along the way. This last generation, I picked up the Fortnite console because I thought, of all the consoles they put out, I thought that would be the more collectible one, just because, number one, I thought the console was beautiful. It's just beautiful color. The purple color was amazing. And number two, what Fortnite meant this last gaming generation, another archetype, right? So that's how I marked that console. Regardless, I think that for this generation, if you're a collector, if you're a serious collector, this is where you have to go. Just so you can keep on playing your games, not just so you don't have to have, 3-4 consoles hooked up. Right now, as we speak, I have my Xbox One, my Xbox 360, and my Xbox connected. At the moment, I have 3 consoles. when that console shoots, I can disconnect all 3 of them and just start playing again. You know, maybe there's a couple of games that are not compatible anymore. You know, I mean, yay or nay, I'll fire the old ones up if I really want to play them. But, you know, I don't really have to if I've already finished the games or completed the games. But it's certainly a great advantage. Now, eventually, all this is really not going to matter because everything's going to be on the cloud. And I'm sure they'll find a way to say, well, if you own this game, you know, just play it. It doesn't matter. If you can show ownership, whatever. Or they could just be part of the service, you know, and then eventually that's where everything is going. This is what's changing this generation, because Microsoft is going to establish the service-based platform. And pretty soon you're going to see it with Nintendo, and you're going to see it with PlayStation. Of course, Xbox, Microsoft is already working with PlayStation on helping them with their system. But I really got to think about this because I saw Crysis being promoted on the Nintendo Switch, which is, you know, when it comes out, I don't know how much it's going to be. Let's say it's more than $20, and we already know it's going to be more than $20. 30, 40, it doesn't matter. The thing is that you're buying a game again to play it on a different platform. Something you don't have to do with backwards compatibility, right? I could just grab my Crysis game, my original Crysis game from the Xbox 360, and just pop it into my Xbox and play it. I'm playing my Crysis 3 right here just because I was lazy. I didn't want to go through all the games and find Crysis. But that's all I had to do was pop it in, download a patch, boom, there I am. I'm playing a last generation game on this new machine. And that's going to be the biggest advantage that Xbox is going to have, and that's what's going to market, you know, long term as a game changer as far as the industry. You know, as far as the Xbox in this generation, the Xbox One, you know, I really have to compare it. If anything, I would compare it to the Saturn. I get that kind of feel of the machine because the games are already going on sale, guys, and there's some pretty good games. I mean, I was just looking at my Xbox collection right now. I have a bunch of games, and a lot of them I bought for less than $8. And there's a lot of games, and there's still a lot of games in the store, and you can get a lot of 2-for-1s because this generation, it didn't hit. Just like the Saturn didn't hit, and the games ended up going on sale. But there's a lot of great games out there that look amazing on this platform, and I think a lot of people are sleeping on it. And the time you want to collect, the time you want to buy is when nobody wants it, right? If you think about all the people that have big collections right now, it's because they bought a bunch of stuff when nobody wanted it. Alright guys, just wanted to share my thoughts on what the collector's point of view was on this new upcoming generation, and I'll share my thoughts on the PlayStation on a different video. Alright, never be afraid to be happy. I'll catch you on the next one. Take care.
Thank you for joining me on another episode of the Gen X Gamer. Remember to like and subscribe, click the notification bell, and remember, never be afraid to be happy. We'll catch you on the next one. Take care.